Okay, so chapter 7 was kind of uncharted territory to me. Um, it wasn't only like an ethical situation, but it involved like a lot of emotion um, as well, that kind of involved like putting respect over reporting. So there was a case in Waco of a shooting in which members of a motorcycle gang passed away and several were injured, and there were over 150 members of two different gangs that were arrested. So the dilemma was essentially deciding whether or not to report the names of the deceased for a particular news source or not to release those names. So the Waco Police Department decided not to release the names because they weren't able to reach the relatives because people weren't being cooperative. Um, but once those relatives were contacted, they agreed to release the names of those who had passed. So it was basically just a matter of wait and see. So the issue was that a competing news station to the one of which Janet Wheeler worked with had acquired and released the names before the Waco police even did. And this caused her news station to push on receiving and releasing those names as well. So Wheeler felt as if it wasn't right from a standpoint of respect as well as accuracy, and holding off on like releasing those names brought Wheeler's news station a lot of praise for most of their audience. So Wheeler felt as if there could have been, or potentially could be, discussion on that fine line of being first and the cost of being first. After reading this story, I do agree with Wheeler in this particular situation because, like, I personally connect to it, not like that situation, but just finding out things from the news that are like more personal. But I believe that the names definitely should have been withheld from the news station regardless of what it took to be first. Not only could that report had been inaccurate, so you could have upset some people who clearly had no reason to be upset, but it also could have tarnished the name and the reputation of the news station had the names of the deceased been released without their relatives being contacted. And I know, like, a lot of people say all publicity is good publicity, which in most cases might be true. But I think that when there's a competing news station that viewers could run to whenever they feel disrespected or disappointed in another news station, I think it's right to make like the ethically sound decision, especially when the situation is so personal to potential members of that particular community.